Before we go exploring the wild depths of the internet, the first thing we have to remember is how to keep safe whilst online. Luckily, protecting ourselves and our families from online threats isn't as hard as fending off lions and tigers in a jungle. In this video, we're going to look at keeping the younger members of your family safe. We all know that keeping your kids out of harm's way can be very difficult, and saying things like, "Don't touch that," often seems to have the opposite effect on inquisitive minds eager to explore their boundaries. So, the first rule we want to remember is trust. We need to be able to trust them when we ask them what they've been doing online or put parental blocks on certain sites. We also need to be able to trust our children's judgment as they get older. To build up their trust in us, we need to take an interest in what they want to do online, whether it's watching a YouTube video, playing Minecraft, or surfing for toys and games. The second rule concerns clear, consistent boundaries. We need to have clear boundaries around what we will and will not allow, and those need to be enforced consistently. Maybe boundaries around when and how long children can be online can be agreed together, so that children feel they've had their say. The third rule is to build up your own knowledge. Most children know a lot less than we might think, but also tend to think that their parents know even less. We need to quash that perception and encourage our children to speak to us if they see anything that confuses or scares them. In the same way as you go to the park and explore what you can do there, try to set aside some time to explore the internet together. So what are the risks for children online? People of all ages have a tendency to share things online that perhaps they shouldn't. Whether it's comments that haven't been properly thought through or immature pictures or videos, these mistakes can haunt us for years. With employers and universities frequently checking your online persona, one stupid mistake can impact on the rest of your life. The good thing is that combating this can be as easy as having a frank chat with your kids about the risks. They can also set privacy controls, but remember the simple rule. If you'd be embarrassed for your gran to see it, don't share it. Once something is online, it has a horrible way of getting a life of its own. With the pervasiveness of the internet and mobile phones, children can now be attacked by their peers online whilst away from school. In terms of bullying, the big difference is that cyberbullying can feel inescapable. Historically, bullying only happened at school and away from the home. The feeling that you cannot escape your attackers can cause an extra level of depression. However, schools are getting better at recognizing symptoms of bullying, and as parents, we need to look out for changes in behavior so we have an opportunity to intervene. The police are starting to take these types of crime more and more seriously. This links back to oversharing and knowing who your kids are speaking to. One of the more unique risks posed by online chat is the threat of online abuse. Again, we need to look for changes in behavior. Keep interested and engaged, but don't obviously pry. Keep talking to your kids and make sure they know that people online aren't always who they say they are. A 9-year-old girlfriend online could be an adult man in real life. Luckily, schools now teach children how easy it is for strangers to pose as anyone online, and strangers of any age or sex should be treated as strangers, not friends. Nonetheless, it's important that you stay aware too. Something that is often forgotten is that computer games have age restrictions in the same way as films. It's often a problem to judge this correctly, as our kids will come home talking about how all their friends are playing the latest hit game. Don't feel under pressure to cave in though. It's your house and your rules, so you need to make the final choice about what is appropriate. Also, remember that many games allow people to chat online with anyone, anywhere in the world. At this point, the age restriction goes out of the window, as you're likely to hear some fairly unpleasant chat whilst online. You could consider placing the computer or games machine in an open family space and making sure the audio comes out of the TV and not the headphones. At least this way, you can challenge anything questionable that you hear. Finally, we need to protect ourselves from our darling children. Sadly, our kids have little respect for our wallets. The desire for the latest thing and a lack of understanding of money can cause problems, as many creators of apps and games have unscrupulously targeted children with things like loot boxes in shooter games, subscription models for things like new wallpapers and ringtones, and cosmetic items for the latest football game. Many of these things are borderline gambling, but the law is slow to catch up with the new technology. Set family restrictions and always require passwords for purchases. Some of these add-ons and extras can cost thousands. In the same way, look at setting up mobile phone contracts that are pay-as-you-go or can be capped.